Yeah, you know,
Right.
I would like to say that when Mark was playing the PSA, we had a little conversation back here, and I just have to tell the public that Ernie was telling us about Wyndham schools and their pizzas. I asked, do you put vegetables on the pizza? And what did you say, Ernie?
I says, you bet we do. And the reason we do that is because we also, with those commodity dollars that I mentioned to you, as food service directors, we have the opportunity to put those dollars where we want it. So if we want to put it towards that USDA catalog of the processed foods, we can put the whole bank in if we want. But I did, to take 50% of my budgeted money and I put it into, it's a DOD fresh fruit and produce program. And what that means is that now I have a catalog of fresh fruit and vegetables that are available to me all year round. And now with that, our kids at Wyndham Public Schools are enjoying more salads. I mean, we've all been on the same concept here where we're trying to get away from as much meats and sweets and stuff like that as we can. Yeah. So with those government dollars now that I put towards the DOD fresh fruit and produce, it allows me to bring in I get watermelon in the schools now. We do slices for the kids. That's dessert. That has replaced the sugared jellos.
Nice.
That's replaced the puddings
You are my new hero,
and
stuff.
Ernie. And all through the summer months when the strawberries come in season, and that's around April or so is when we start getting some California and then the Florida strawberries. We have cups of fresh strawberries in the schools, at all the schools. And this year we put in a salad bar at our high school. I really wanted to try that because of now I have all this exposure to all these different types of lettuces. I've got the mesclun mix, I've got the romaine, I've got the fresh, all these wonderful field greens and stuff. So those are all on our salad bar. The cucumbers, the beets. We're doing like a corn and bean salad. We're being creative. And I can honestly say that Wyndham Public Schools has not had a canned vegetable on our stockroom shelves since last April.
Wow.
I mean, we're using 95% fresh on the menu.
Can I speak to that for a moment?
Jump right in.
I want you to know that what you are doing in the schools is you are modeling right eating. You are not educating the children. And I'll tell you, for all my years that I have worked with school systems and done education, usually the people in charge, the administrators, will say to me, we don't have to change our school lunch program. We just need to educate the kids. And I stand up and say, you're absolutely wrong. What we have to do is model it in our cafeterias, show them what it looks like, and then they change. They really feel and make the change, as opposed to thinking that if we just intellectually tell them, to eat deeper, dark vegetables and fruits because there's more nutrients, it just doesn't do it.
No, you need to lead by example. And education is not a magic bullet. You need to influence attitudes and intent before you see any hope of behavior change.
I'm curious, what kinds of results have you seen, Ernie? How is it going over with the kids?
At the salad bar, this being its first year, we created our own salad bar. And, of course, being a school district, we have no money to spend. So we had to be very creative. But we were able to get an 8-foot ice-down salad bar. We had Crocs that were donated to us. And it started off slow. I'm talking 8-10 kids a day. And then we started getting some faculty involved. Hey, look at this. I don't have to bring lunch from home. So now my high school staff is noticing, wow, look at the salad bar. Word starts spreading.
Yes.
Next week, we got 10, 12 teachers, 15 to 20 students.
Nice.
That was the greatest thing. And it just goes exactly what Shoshana just said. Now we're modeling it as well. I got teachers, the phys ed teachers in there every day getting a salad. The principals making a salad. And they're intermixed with the students. They're all going through the line together.
All the dieters.
You know,
get all the dieters saying, oh, wow, I can get a salad.
Yeah, so
right
now,
here.
I mean, we're averaging 50 to 65, 70 participants per day on that salad bar.
Wow.
That has gone huge. And like I say, when the kids come through the normal line to get the entree of the day, an entree of the day could be the pizza with some veggies on it, we still give them a side of vegetables with it, whether it's green beans or carrots. That automatically goes with our entrees. As they go down the line, they come to we make these little veggie boats that have baby carrots, a couple cucumber slices, a celery stick. They grab those. They grab either the fresh fruit that's available, whether it's the watermelon, the strawberries. All those are available. And the nice thing is that, like Dorothy was mentioning, we have teamed up with our local farms. Because I says, why do I got to purchase apples from Washington State? We got some of the best stuff growing right here.
Absolutely.
So I lobbied the state because I would have to buy it from a separate purveyor. Well, you can't do that. I says, but why can't we support our farm to school? It's essentially the same thing. So after a few weeks, they got back to us, says, we will allow Wyndham to do that.
Awesome.
So we've been buying apples from Glastonbury. We've got Lyman Orchard for pears. We've been getting raspberries. Of course, our apples, we've just gone through the end of them, but we were getting peaches, we were getting nectarines, we're still getting plums, beautiful plums, that are locally grown. We got corn on the cob. We snapped them in half for the kids and steamed them, and we served them that way. Put them on a stick to make it more attractive.
That's excellent.
It's interesting. There's a student movement that across the country that's on a number of different college campuses that promotes the farm to school connection, and a number of student groups have developed on different campuses to try to build these connections and networks with local farmers. I remember I heard Neil Young on NPR one time talking about it because his kids were in the high school and he couldn't stand the food that they had in the school, so he got involved, and a number of the other parents, with trying to build these relationships with local farmers. And we need farmers. We need farmers to be successful. The farmers in this country are getting older, and it's a very difficult, unrewarding job. We really need ways to train a new generation of farmers and honor their role and how important they are in our health and our future.
And pay them for it.
Absolutely.
That is the bottom
Keep
line.
it sustainable.
Yeah. All right. Before the time is running out here, unbelievably, we could go on and on. But before we leave, I want to touch on what can people do to kind of make some little changes in their diets and kind of help them decipher some of the marketing rhetoric out there. I want to bring up ice cream now. They say that it's lower calories or lower fat, but all they're doing is adding air to the ice cream to fluff it up.
Well, I think that using ice cream, I think we have to be careful. Yes, we want lower sugar and lower fat in our diets, but by going with fat-free ice cream, we actually run the risk of increasing people's blood sugar. Fat is one of those things where it helps the sugar to reduce, or what most people actually have heard the term glycemic index, and that refers to the rate at which a food becomes blood sugar, becomes, sugar in our blood. We don't want to do fat-free ice cream. I do think that dairy fat being saturated, that is the fat, along with meat fat, that we need to reduce in our diets, unquestionably. But what we don't want to do is go to the extreme place. Fat-free ice cream has lots more sugar in it. And I would honestly say
to make up for the loss of taste from the fat.
And the satiety factor. You talk about how do we help people to eat better. Don't swing too far in any direction. You get too little fat in your diet, you're going to be craving. You're going to be.
I agree absolutely. And in fact, there is no such thing as fat-free ice cream. Cream, by definition, is a high-fat food. Mm-hmm. And anytime you get to the point where you're mincing words and trying to make something look healthy, what you're doing is you're making it phony. Right. And we need to get back to real ingredients. And I think it's much better for people to enjoy small portions of ice cream that they can enjoy. Not every day. It needs to be. It needs to return to its focus as a special occasion food, rather than something we reward ourselves with constantly because we're racing around and driving ourselves
too
crazy.
busy. Goes back to the households with two working adults.
Exactly.
Everybody's stressed, including the children.
And I think we need to be more in tune with reading labels. People really got to start looking at their labels and stuff. And of course, anything is fine as long as you stick to moderation. Do things in moderation. And like we've all been talking, our portions here in this country are just 3 times more than they should be. If we all just, families just really watch their portions and really was careful with the fats and stuff, and try using more fresh foods. The more fruits you have at dinner time and fruits following it, I mean, the better we're all going to be.
Yeah, I say every meal of the day should have either fruit or vegetable.
Yep.
The bigger the color, the more nutrients that are in them. I'd also like to plug an old documentary at this point, but Supersize Me.
Oh, yeah.
I think that Spurlock's documentary, which, by the way, he was not married at the time, but is now married. But he included that in. He had a girlfriend who was a vegan chef, and he went about exploring 30 days of McDonald's food only.
Yep.
And the man ended up with liver enzymes and not cirrhosis, fatty liver disease, and gained 30 pounds.
And felt awful.
In 30 days. And he was followed by 3 doctors and a dietitian, nutritionist, and they all wanted him to stop the diet. Wow. What Ernie said about reading labels, I find it fascinating.